which is a huge thing to say for someone who comes from a famous Rhine region, which 2 years ago I absolutely would not have predicted.
새로운 삶을 찾아 호주에서 한국으로 이주한 지 2년차가 된 유튜버 로즈. 그녀는 스스로를 꽤 모험적인 미식가라 자부했지만 한국 음식 앞에서는 커다란 장벽을 느껴야만 했습니다. 생전 처음 보는 비주얼과 낯선 식감 때문에 처음에는 도저히 입에 대지 못했던 음식들이 수두룩했죠. 하지만 시간은 많은 것을 바꿔놓았습니다. 오늘 이야기할 것은 그녀가 처음엔 경악하며 거부했지만 지금은 절대 없이는 살 수 없게 된 4가지 음식에 대한 이야기입니다. 과연 어떤 음식들이 그녀의 굳건했던 서양식 입맛을 이토록 완벽하게 개조해 놓았을지 지금부터 함께 보시죠.
When I moved to Korea 2 years ago, I thought I was a pretty adventurous eater. Today I want to talk about the foods that Korea basically had to force onto me for me to like them. And I say force because none of this was instant. Some of it took months, some of it took over a year or even years. But each one came with a specific moment where something finally clicked. Let's get into it.
가장 먼저 그녀를 충격에 빠뜨린 첫 번째 음식은 여름철 한국인들의 소울푸드였습니다. 뜨거운 국물 요리가 기본인 서양인들에게 얼음이 동동 떠있는 차가운 국수란 그 자체로 기괴한 혼종처럼 느껴지기 마련이죠.
Let's start with the one that I think genuinely confuses foreigners more than any other food in Korea. Cold noodles in cold broth, served with ice in it. My first experience with naengmyeon was at a train station restaurant, which is probably the origin of my problem. I was on a group tour in Korea and was taken here to try a classic Korean dish. I genuinely did not understand what I was eating. The noodles were darker in colour than I expected, slightly chewy, and almost gummy. The broth was cold and faintly sweet and faintly sour all at the same time. And there was this little jar of mustard and vinegar on the side that I had absolutely no idea what to do with because no one told me. So I ate it politely and I thought it was pretty strange and not something I would order again. And then I didn't eat it again for years.
기차역에서 겪은 첫 만남은 그야말로 최악이었고 그녀는 한동안 이 음식을 쳐다보지도 않았습니다. 하지만 한국의 찜통 같은 여름이 본격적으로 시작되자 상황은 완전히 바뀝니다. 숨이 턱턱 막히고 가만히 있어도 땀이 흐르는 혹독한 더위 속에서 이 이질적이었던 차가운 음식은 그녀에게 완벽하게 새로운 구원자로 다가오게 되는데요.
The moment it changed was actually in summer. Proper Korean summer. You know, where all the cicadas are out and it's so humid that it makes you feel like you're breathing through a wet towel. And I was at lunch with a Korean friend who ordered naengmyeon without even looking at the menu. And I just copied her, thinking, well, this must be what you do here. Sitting in that cold restaurant with the aircon blasting, drinking that cold broth with pieces of ice in it, it just made sense in a way I never expected. Now, when the summer heat comes, which it kind of is coming now, I genuinely crave it. I'll seek it out on a really hot day. And that's a sentence I would not have believed 2 years ago.
차가운 국물로 첫 번째 장벽을 넘었다면 두 번째로 그녀를 기다리고 있던 음식은 용암처럼 펄펄 끓어오르는 뚝배기 요리였습니다. 찌개를 끓는 상태 그대로 식탁에 올리는 한국 특유의 뚝배기 문화는 서양인들에게 종종 두려움의 대상이 되곤 합니다. 게다가 붉은 국물 속에서 뇌처럼 부서져 내리는 연두부의 식감은 단단한 두부만 먹어본 그녀에게 마치 덜 익은 불량식품처럼 느껴지기 마련이었죠.
Sundubu jjigae had a texture problem for me. I don't have an issue with tofu conceptually. I'd eaten plenty of it in Australia and quite like it. But firm tofu in a stir fry is a very different thing from silken tofu that's basically falling apart and looks like a brain in a spicy red broth. It looked to me like the tofu was, I guess, underdone, not finished, like it hadn't been quite cooked properly. I kept expecting a texture that wasn't coming. And then there's the egg. When you eat sundubu jjigae, they crack a raw egg into the top of the soup, right at the table, and it sits there cooking in that bubbling hot broth. And for someone who wasn't used to that presentation, it was just a little odd for me.
도무지 정체를 알 수 없던 이 두 번째 음식은 마주 앉은 누군가의 따뜻한 한마디와 함께 마침내 그 진짜 의미를 드러냅니다. 한국인들이 왜 아침부터 펄펄 끓는 국물을 찾는지, 쓰린 속과 피로를 어떻게 씻어내는지 깨닫는 순간이 찾아온 것이죠. 화려한 레스토랑의 정찬이 아니라 일상을 어루만져주는 음식이라는 걸 알게 되자 이 낯선 뚝배기는 그녀의 영혼을 달래주는 완벽한 위로의 음식으로 탈바꿈하게 되었습니다.
But this one took me years to come around to. Because sundubu jjigae is one of those dishes where someone basically has to sit across from you and say, this is what you eat when you're hungover or when it's cold or when you just need something warm that isn't complicated. And once I understood that it was a comfort food, not as a restaurant dish that you perform enthusiasm about, but as a thing that you actually want at 9 a.m. on a rough morning, I was completely on board. And something that is now probably one of my favorite Korean foods.
찌개의 매력에 푹 빠진 그녀를 기다리고 있던 세 번째 음식은 바로 마시는 음료, 한국의 전통주였습니다. 와인이나 맥주처럼 투명하고 맑은 서양 술에만 익숙한 호주 여성에게 뽀얗고 걸쭉한 이 액체는 마치 덜 만들어진 불완전한 음료처럼 보였죠. 시큼하면서도 달달한 그 오묘한 맛과 식감은 한동안 그녀의 머릿속을 심각한 혼란에 빠뜨렸습니다.
Makgeolli took me the longest time to understand as a drink. It's cloudy, it's fizzy, it's sour and sweet at the same time, and the texture is not something you'd expect from something that you're drinking socially. It's kind of thick. In Australia, when you go out, you know what you're getting. Beer, wine, something clear. Makgeolli looks like something that's still in the process of being made into a drink. My brain just kept putting it in the wrong category. Like maybe I was thinking it would be more like shitke and more sweet and less alcoholic, but I was completely wrong, of course. And with makgeolli, culturally, I didn't have the context for it. I didn't know that it was a farmer's drink, that it's been around for centuries, that it's essentially the most democratic drink in Korea. Made from rice, affordable and shared. I just knew that it tasted unusual and I wasn't sure how I was supposed to feel about that.
이탁하고 오묘한 술이 수백 년 동안 한국 농부들의 땀방울을 씻어준 진정한 서민의 술이라는 사실을 그녀는 알지 못했습니다. 현재 한국의 막걸리 시장 규모는 약 5천억 원을 훌쩍 넘길 만큼 국민적인 사랑을 받고 있죠. 조선 건국 이래로 백성들의 희로애락을 묵묵히 함께해온 이 민주적인 주류는 땀 흘려 험한 산을 오르고 난 후 아름다운 자연 속에서 마침내 그 진가를 발휘하며 이방인의 마음을 훔치고 말았습니다.
I remember when I realised I actually liked makgeolli for the first time was when we'd been hiking at Mungyong and it was a beautiful spring evening and we had pajeon and omija makgeolli, I think. It was pink in colour, so I'm pretty sure it was omija considering it comes from Mungyong. When I just got to experience that after walking for a few hours, I totally understood it. Now it's my preferred drink. Even over wine, which is a huge thing to say for someone who comes from a famous wine region, which 2 years ago I absolutely would not have predicted.
이제 그녀의 입맛을 개조한 마지막 네 번째 음식이 등장할 차례입니다. 밥과 국, 술까지 섭렵한 그녀는 전통시장에서 흔히 볼 수 있는 간식거리 앞을 서성이게 됩니다. 서양식 페이스트리처럼 가볍고 얇은 결이 살아있는 디저트만 먹고 자란 그녀의 눈에 묵직하고 거대한 한국식 빵은 마치 덜 익혀진 무거운 반죽 덩어리처럼 보였습니다. 하지만 조심스럽게 한 입 베어 문 순간 그녀의 예상을 완전히 빗나가는 엄청난 반전이 기다리고 있었죠.
Now, this one is interesting because I love sweet things. I don't know that I've ever met a sweet that I didn't like. For example, red bean paste, I was completely on board with. No convincing needed. So you'd think that sulpang would be a guaranteed win for me, but it wasn't. Not at first. My issue was the bun itself, the bread. It just seemed so dense.
Nope.
kind of doughy in a way that felt heavy, like as soon as I'd taken a bite. In Australia, if something is bread-based and sweet, it's usually quite light and often flaky, like a pastry. But sulpang is none of those things. It's soft and thick and substantial, a bit heavy. And my brain kept telling me this is going to be way too sweet. Then I actually tried one. And the first thing I thought was, this tastes like a pancake.
놀랍게도 그 묵직해 보이던 빵 안에는 폭신폭신한 식감과 함께 오묘한 발효의 풍미가 완벽하게 숨어 있었습니다. 과거 밀가루와 서양식 효모가 귀했던 시절, 우리 조상들은 발효된 막걸리를 빵 반죽에 넣어 부풀려내는 놀라운 생활의 지혜를 발휘했습니다. 부족하고 척박한 환경 속에서 탄생했던 이 소박한 서민들의 간식은 수십 년이 지난 지금 먼 타국에서 온 깐깐한 외국인의 미각마저 완벽하게 사로잡아버린 겁니다.
Not in a bad way. I was in a genuinely delightful where has this been my whole life way. The dough has that same slightly sweet, airy quality, but with the fermented quality about it, it just works. Actually, right now, I want to go and get one, cut it open, and then put butter on it. Sorry, that might seem like a sacrilege to Korean food purists, but it's so yummy. Now, here's what's really interesting too. It's called sulpang. Sul means alcohol in Korean, and so it's actually made out of makgeolli. And the reason why is really interesting, because a long time ago in Korea, I heard that yeast wasn't abundant, so it wasn't that easy to be able to make bread in the traditional Western way. What some Korean cooks worked out is that if you put fermented alcohol, makgeolli, into a dough mixture, it will allow the dough to rise, which is what's needed to make bread. And it also has this beautiful sweet quality to it too. Now I think about it in my head as its own special category of bread, unlike anything else.
처음엔 기겁하며 밀어냈지만 이제는 도저히 없어서는 안 될 소중한 4가지 음식들. 낯선 타국의 입맛으로 변해간다는 것은 단순히 음식을 수용하는 차원을 넘어 그 나라 사람들의 오랜 역사와 삶의 방식을 온전히 마음으로 받아들였다는 증거이기도 합니다. 우리에게는 동네 시장이나 식당에서 마주하는 지극히 평범한 한 끼였지만 바다 건너온 이방인에게는 삶의 궤적 자체를 바꾸어 놓는 놀라운 기적이자 미식의 신세계였던 거죠. 매일 우리가 무심히 차려 먹는 이 일상의 식탁이 사실은 전 세계인을 감동시키는 위대한 문화유산임을 우리는 자랑스럽게 생각해도 괜찮을 것 같네요.